this video, we are going to share you the history of the first public school here in Danao City.
Sabayan at samahan niyo kami tuklasin ang history ng paaralan na ito. Ano? Tara na!
Danao Elementary School, also called as the Danao City Central School, which started its operation in 1902. It also considered as the first public school here in Danao City, Cebu. The school occupied, even until today, the two parochial schools built of thick and solid stone walls, boys and girls, during the Spanish era in the year 1863. These two old buildings were used by the Americans in 1902 when they forced children of school age to attend classes. The first graduates of primary education were also recruited to teach children in the barrios. As the number of enrollment grew annually due to the encouragement demonstrated by the Americans for Danaoans to embrace education. Other public schools were opened. Ginsay Elementary School was established in 1909 and to be followed by the Ginakot Elementary School in 1910. After the Second World War, a number of public schools in the coastal and the mountain barangays were established. Different private elementary schools were also established as the last quarter of the century. Barangay Ibo is the last barangay in Danao to have a public elementary school when Eduardo Gori Memorial National High School of Ibo opened up elementary grades in 2012. As a integral part of the school, thus the name of the school becomes Eduardo Gori Memorial Integrated School. Today, all the barangays in Danao have a public elementary school that obviously gives to people, particularly in the hinterland, access to education.
In 1863, during the Spanish period, formal education started in the country but only the elite population had access to it. Though parochial schools under different religious orders were built that offered free primary school education. But still, only the learners from the elite families had felt its benefit. On the same year, Padre Manuel Fernandez de la Virgen del Rosario, a Recollect friar and the parish priest of Danao, opened up a parochial school by constructing two school buildings for boys and girls, still existing along Cal Minerva, now Efralota Saint. The church operated this school in Danao for more than 30 decades and had only ceased the operation when the Americans came to the Philippines. After the United States gained control of the Philippines in 1898, a strong emphasis was placed on public education.
1901, public school system was established in the Philippines at the behest of the DAP Commission of the United States and apparently was abusing the Spanish system of education. Schools that the pattern of the America's model were opened in the different parts of the country which had the accent of the majority of the teachers were Americans who were abroad in the Army Transport Sudarian and the June Transport Thomas Augustine. But as more Filipinos become qualified later, American teachers were replaced gradually. Americans encouraged children to enter school by the giving school supplies and aid.
1902, the first public primary school in Danao, later named as Danao Elementary School, was established by the Americans. After a close preparation and consideration, the old and competent teachers who served during the last years of the Spanish domination were recruited to teach. At daytime, they taught English lessons to the pupils at night. They were trained in English by the pioneering Thomasites in Danao like Anna C. Boyle and John G. Wartney. Children of school were forced and obliged to attend classes. The school was occupied even until today. The two provincial schools buildings built of thick solid stone walls. During the Spanish era in the year of 1863, when the Americans took control of Danao, these two old Spanish school buildings were used by them in 1902 when they forced children of school age attend classes. Lessons taught then in school were arithmetic, composition, American history, physical and political geography, theology, and hygiene.
Few names were remembered as prominent teachers who served during the last years of the Spanish era and were trained in English at night by the Thomasites. And they were Senior Felix A. Alvarez, Senior Armando G. Osmeña, Senior Aquilino A. Tito, Senior Alfonso Lau, Senorita Ramona E. Alvarez, Senorita Leonarda Alvarez, Senorita Anunciacion C. Manipis, Senorita Maria Pasao, Senorita Tomasa D. Casas, and Senorita Canota Alvarez. The first principal of Danao Elementary School, who was Mr. Imin A. American educator, encouraged Danawanon parents to send their children to school. As the number of enrollment increased, the rooms of the two old school buildings were no longer enough and they solved the problem on the ground floor of the old Cuartel de Sables located along Calle del Carmen, now Bonifacio Street, was partial and used as classrooms. Classes were also held in this public building, which is only about few meters away from the school. The first graduates of primary education were also recruited to teach children and the barrios.
The two existing school buildings used by the Danao Elementary School at the start of its operation were of one story Spanish type, but the passing of the Gabaldon Act of 1907 had made the school a recipient of the Gabaldon buildings, which were constructed as second floors of the same existing school buildings, changing then their appearance to unique Spanish Gabaldon type buildings, combining Spanish and American architecture as we can see them today. The side school buildings can be considered as historical structures in Danao. For in these buildings, the Spaniards had inculcated to us Christianity religion, and the Americans had introduced to us public school system of education so many years ago.
The said building with 4 classrooms was constructed along the Real National Road today. At the outset, the said building served as an extension of the now Central School, which in early 1960s was finally separated and the name as David Durano Memorial Elementary School. The growing number of enrollment of school children in Danao was a manifestation that Danaoanons had finally realized the value of education, for they had become appreciative of learning. Thus, other public primary schools were being opened up in different barrios of Danao before and after the war. To cater the growing number of enrollment of school children having finished primary education that obviously offers only grade 1 to grade 4. Pupils began studying their intermediate education, the grade 5 to 7, in the Danao Elementary School, where it was the only school that offered complete elementary education, causing its annual enrollment to increase considerably. Though, circa 1940, elementary education was reduced to 6 years and additional classrooms buildings were constructed, but the lack of classrooms was still a problem to solve. The enrollment from grade 5 to 6 continued to grow that in 1940s other classes were even held in the old convent. due to the fact that only the Danao Elementary School had complete elementary education at this period. The school then became the center of the public elementary education in Danao and was later renamed to Danao Central School. When Danao had become a chartered city in 1961, the school that was later renamed again to what is now Danao City Central School. In 1940s, during the Second World War, the school building located near the city hall was damaged and was rebuilt in 1946. One classroom at the upper part of this building was used in the vision office for 10 years. When the vision of the Danao City was created and started in operation in 1962, it was dissolved in 1973. But the division was restored in 2003, occupying again the same part of this building for 10 years, until 2013, when it finally acquired its own office building. The Danao City Central School existed in Danao more than a century ago today, and has already produced thousands of Danaoans professionals and a number of prominent individuals. Manong Amon, the father of the Danao City, enrolled here in 1912 and had graduated his elementary education in 1919 with flying colors and was even designated as the class historian for the year. Today, the Danao City Central School has 8 existing schools building. Its school site has a total land area of approximately 8,750 square meters. Since 1863, the school site has remained as property owned by the church. The school today has one principal and one assistant principal, with more than 60 strong school teachers who are willing to give education to children from the city of Danao and elsewhere.